Hey, welcome to Vortex Garage, and here we are working on our Spitfire. So today we're going to give you just a little bit of an update video, nothing too intricate or detailed like the last few where we showed you the fitment measurement and welding it of the floor panel. And the main reason is because what we're working on now, like this inner sill and prepping for the inner rocker, and of course our outer rocker, well, we've done that on the other side, and there's videos that we posted that cover how to do that. And so far it's gone pretty much the same. So there's not been anything new to really share, but I do want to share an update and let you know the progress we're making on the car. And that's what we'll do today. So right now I am grinding down some of our rosette welds here because we need these, two reasons you want to do it. A, to make it look nice, but this is going to be covered, so who cares? Well, I know it's there, but the main reason is there is a functional reason, and that is you want these smooth. These rosette welds are raised. You want these smooth because we've got that sandwich of metal on our pinch weld. We're going to have our outer rocker that comes on here, and that edge piece is going to need to weld here. So we need this bottom part to be nice and smooth for that. Otherwise, we won't have a good tight fit. Same will go here when we put our inner rocker in. We're going to have a bunch of rosette welds. We're going to need to do the same, grind those smooth so we get that sandwich of metal on our pinch weld. So let me go ahead and keep grinding away here, and when I'm done, I'll grab the camera, show you some of the things we've worked on this weekend. All right, so you probably noticed we were grinding a little bit more than what we worked on today. Today we pretty much worked on this attachment, our inner sill, and this back attachment. But I've ground some things up here, around here. These are welds I did over a year ago, and that's how long this car sat, pretty much most of 2020 while we did other stuff. And well, I never ground the welds down, and catching up to them today because pretty soon we're going to be covering this piece up. I do have a few more up in here that I'll probably knock out, but for the time being, we have this taken care of, which is putting us in a pretty good spot. So let me grab a light. I'll just show you what we did today. So you can probably see a few spots there where we've got a little bit of burn through from welding on the other side. And I'll share a few pictures as we go along here too, but basically, our main thing for today was getting the inner sill in place, and that took a bulk of time today, just in terms of getting the alignment right, going through and checking everything, getting the welds, prepping the piece. So typical stuff that you need to do, and you can, like I said, look at our other video to see all the details, but we have to grind down the E-coating, and then we have to prep the spot weld holes where we need to. So we put the spot weld holes in the bottom of this lip here. And this lip on these is very shallow, so the tool doesn't want to fit in there very well. And I don't know if we covered this in the last video, so if not, what I do is I put this in the bench vise or just use pliers or whatever tool and basically bend this a little more out, and the tool will fit in, and you can just barely get your little spot weld hole punched. And that just saves from having to drill all those out. We also mark on this where this panel starts and where this starts, and I only put spot weld holes in the actual sill along that middle piece. The rest of them, I come up on the floor. We come up on the floor and I drill holes, and then we go ahead and through the holes, go ahead and do the rosette welds from the bottom. So of course we'll need to grind those down at some point as well and smooth them out since they'll be visible from under the car. And there you can see them just a little bit better. So there's about, what, 5 spot welds right there that we did. Basically we mark where that piece ends and we drill those holes just through the floor and not into the sill. And you can pre-drill those if you measure everything. So you have those holes ready to go. And then you do your welds from this side. And same thing up front. We did just the same here, as you can see. And the main reason for doing that is because with this piece in place, it would be very much impossible to get your MIG weld gun into here. You'd have to get into there somehow, and same deal, get into here. So that's pretty much what we did today. Let's go around the other side. We'll show you what it looks like from inside the car. And a good pan around shot of the car and the rotisserie, or at least a piece of the car. So inside we've gone ahead and, like I said, we punched the spot weld holes in the end pieces where they go against the inner part of the car, and then we rosette weld those. Haven't cleaned those welds up yet, and same up front in there. But we also attached the A-post pillar, so you can see there's no gaps or holes in there. We do have a little bit of cleanup to do inside of the car. Not much, but that's actually from last year. But all in all, we're moving along pretty good. We've now got a complete floor in this car. We've got this side all wrapped up. And we're getting close to having our inner and outer rocker on the right-hand side, which in the States is the passenger side. Walk around this way. There will always be welds to clean up. I'm sure at some point when I wrap up a big job, I'm gonna have to just come along, and all the places where I quit for the day and left some welds that were high, I'll have to come in and clean them up. I figure that's part of, whoops, I hit the rotisserie there. That's part of body work, right? So anyway, I did go and track down my parts that I've had for over a year. There's the inner rocker, and then down there is the outer rocker that I still got wrapped up in the cardboard. So we'll be ready to put that on as soon as we're all set here. So kind of where we're at today, I think I'm just going to work on cleaning these up. I don't know if I'm going to fit the inner rocker today or not. It is a very simple part to fix, or to affix, but I will have to prep it. And what I'd like to do before I do that is add some extra coating in here. We did some rust encapsulator last time, and although we're going to pull the quarter panel off and I have access to here, we can do in here a little bit as well. So before we do that, we need to prep the welds, and we need to get things set and ready for some etch primer, and then some nice protective coating, so that hopefully, on this car at least, we'll never have to do this again. So why don't I go ahead and fit the inner rocker just as something to show you. Now some of our parts are tight over here. We're going to have to manipulate them to get this in. And one of the things that we showed in the last video, and we did again here, there's no welds here yet. We have everything marked out with holes punched ready to go, but we've not done any welding there because we want this whole panel to have a little bit of flexibility left in it so that we can fit this in. Because as it stands, just like on the other side, I'm going to have to bend this slightly to get it to fit in. And then we can get it pressed in. So we're going to have to do a little bit of prep work on it. We're going to have to do a little bit of fitting, but it looks like it's going to butt up just fine. I would say, if anything, right here, we're going to need to trim a little bit. And I don't know where my Sharpie went, so we'll do that off camera. So we'll need to do a little trimming right here to let this lay flat. But other than that, all of our lines are lining up good. Everything's good here. So we should be in good shape to get this piece fitted in and move along here. So let me go ahead and pull it out, again being careful not to crease anything. And luckily with this part, you don't have to fit it too many times. One or two fits, you end up getting it right. It's a pretty simple part. Now one more thing that I did that I didn't do on the other side, and I had a little bit of a thought where I was like, I never checked this. I never test fit the door. And fortunately, I did so today, and our fit looks pretty good. It looks manageable to where we're going to have to work with the shut lines and everything, but everything fit pretty good, and the door went, I didn't bolt it on, but I just put it in and test fit it. So it'll fit in the aperture. And that's what I was getting nervous about, was when I'm mounting the rocker panel, I'm going off the original lines of the car. And on that side, I had the original A-post pillar, I had the original lines, I had things kind of mapped out. So I was confident in where I was putting everything. But on this one, this is replacement. This back here has been cut quite a bit. So when I test fit the rocker, I have my door over there, and we're gonna just at least lay the door in, see if we can make sure that the fit's good. Because once that rocker's on there, it's gonna be tough to manipulate that. And well, that would be a deal killer if that was up too high, and if the bottom of the door was hitting the actual rocker, yeah, you'd have some problems. So it's a good thing to remember, and I don't think we called it out in the original video, but if you are doing this on your car, have the door and give it a test fit. Luckily our door, everything is off of it. So with our structure here, which is welded right to the door seam, it's not in the door jamb. So we can actually test fit our doors with this cage installed. So that's another thing that we didn't cover when we put the cage. Maybe I did, that was 2 years ago at this rate. Oh, if you ever wonder what these are when you see them on here, sometimes, because I'm kind of a mess with the welder, I'll let the wire come out too far, and I'm too lazy to walk over and get the clippers. So what I'll do is I'll just run it out 1 inch and then just tap it against the metal and chop it off, and you leave a little string on there. So that's what that's all about. So anyway, what I was saying before I got distracted by this little piece was, yeah, what I was saying was, I don't know if we covered it originally, but if you haven't already done this, if you're looking to do this on your car, when you build this inner structure, try to do it in such a way that you leave yourself the ability to put the doors back on. A lot of times people will brace the door jamb itself, and you can even do some cool stuff where you have like a bolt-on piece that goes into your hinge clamps in here, and you can put a nice brace there. But what that doesn't allow you to do, unless you make it removable, is test fit your doors. Our structure is inside the car enough that we can at least test fit the doors. So that's good. So when we do the outer rocker, we'll give the door a test fit before we weld it in. All right, I could probably talk for another 30 minutes, but that's our update for today. And maybe next time around, we'll have cameras going and show you some more work. But if you want to see how to do an inner sill, check out the link in the description, or it probably flashed across the screen at some point, and you can watch our video from a year or two ago on when we did that. So, hope you enjoy this. We'll keep you updated on the progress we make here on Vortex Garage.